watching you all night from across the room.
Why don't you go back there and keep watching?
The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard is a film that was released in 1992, directed by Mick Jackson, and it is a romance thriller. This film is starring Kevin Costner as Frank Farmer and Whitney Houston as Rachel Moran. The synopsis of the movie goes: best-selling pop diva Rachel has a stalker whose obsession has risen to the level of disturbing threats. At the urging of her manager, Rachel hires former Secret Service agent Frank Farmer as her bodyguard. So for starters, the film started off with gunshots, like off rip. The film started off with the introduction of Frank. So Frank is a famous or celebrity bodyguard, not just celebrity, for public figures like, politicians. His previous job was being a bodyguard for the president, and he has a lot of trauma when it comes to that gets developed later on in the film. So Frank, being one of the most well-known bodyguards in Hollywood, he gets contacted by Rachel's manager, and he's basically speaking to him about somebody who's been threatening Rachel with letters. So as Frank is learning more about Rachel's stalker, he comes to the understanding that Rachel's team has decided to basically put this aside and not let Rachel know exactly what's going on around her. As we get introduced to Rachel as a character, we know that she's a very carefree person. She's very loving. She's very fun to be around. She's very charismatic. And her having no idea about what's going on with the stalker, she's completely oblivious to the danger that she's in. She lets so many people in that even in that first scene where she's rehearsing and Frank is coming in, you can see that she has a lot of negative energy around her, and it comes from certain people in her family that we're going to talk about later, and a lot of people in her team that don't have the best interests at heart. I really like the scene where Frank is walking into her house, into her big mansion, and he's walking in and he sees people rehearsing, music is playing, and I like how the cameras is walking with him into that room as if us, the audience, is walking in with him and experience everything that's happening around her. And we don't really get to see her right away. They make us wait to see Rachel, and I feel like Rachel's and Frank's first initial interaction with each other, I don't know, it wasn't super romantic, but I feel like the actors, Kevin and Whitney, I feel like they had a good chemistry. I just don't know how to feel about how the characters were written as a romantic couple. Certain the scenes, I don't know, they just didn't portray their relationship in a very good way, and there's a lot to touch on that later on in this video. Now, Rachel's team. From the beginning of the movie, we see that Rachel is a character that pretty much has trust in everybody that she works with. I don't think she ever doubts any of them, even when they blatantly express negative energy towards her. She just seems to not see it at all. And I'm specifically talking about Sai. Yeah, he was blatantly saying to her face, I'm just here because of your money and because of your success, and I want to take advantage of that, and I want to clout you, basically. Like, I want, like, he clearly knows what's going on with Rachel, that she has a stalker, that she's getting death threats and getting these very letters, and this person wishing death on her. And her team is saying that they want to keep it a secret to protect her from certain reactions, but they're really trying to keep this a secret because they want her to keep on, being the star that she is and the diva that she is, because they benefit from it and they get clout and money off of it. Nikki. So Nikki is Rachel's sister, and this was a very interesting aspect of the movie. I did not expect this type of storyline to be in the movie coming in, but I feel like it was very interesting, but then nothing happened with it. From the first scene we see Nikki in the movie, we get the idea that she has some type of hatred or some type of animosity towards her sister, and it comes off pretty obvious in the way that she looks at her and the way she reacts to the things that her sister says. She's very condescending, very negative energy, and for some reason Rachel's character never acknowledges that in the movie. And as we move on with her character, we see that she's so obsessed with trying to see her sister fail, and that's one of the first characters that I thought maybe she is the stalker. Maybe she's actually trying to kill her sister. And as we move on in the movie, we see how she notices Frank's attraction towards Rachel, and now she's jealous of that, and now she wants to take that away from Rachel, because according to her, Rachel has everything that she never had, including a very handsome man that is attracted to Rachel that, Nikki thinks that she's never gonna get, and she's jealous of that. So yeah, Nikki was my first one on the board as to who was the stalker. And then I also thought about Rachel's manager, choreographer, the guy Sai, who was obsessed with, trying to get her to be everywhere and to, be so popular and invite so many people in and talk to her fans and interact with her fans all the time, knowing damn well that there's somebody out there who is supposed to be a fan but really wants to kill her. But he's willing to jeopardize her safety for clout and money and knows what else. So I also thought maybe he is the stalker, because he was also against Frank, just like Nikki was at some point.
I would say that I really enjoy the movie, but the script is where the movie falls flat for me. And I want to start this off by talking about the stalker. So the stalker, as I was thinking that the stalker might be somebody in her team, some of the characters that were introduced earlier in the film that were kind of the antagonist, the people that are around her that are against her. I felt like one of them it was gonna be. I thought it would be her manager, but I was also thinking as I was watching the movie, it may not have been him. That would have been too obvious. And then that's when I went back to thinking it was the sister, because as we move on, we see more of why the sister acts like that towards her. But it turns out to be none of them. And it turns out to be this random guy that is connected to Frank because he's also a bodyguard. But he has this weird obsession with Whitney, and he wants to get rid of her because he's a fan and he's obsessed with her and he wants to take advantage of her. And it's odd because it's just so random. I feel like there are fans that are like that are obsessed and that are willing to hurt the person that they claim to love and be obsessed over. But I just felt like it just came out of nowhere. And adding it to Frank being connected to him, it just felt like it was just written there to be like that. It would have made more sense to me if it would have been someone in her camp that had a way more motive to do this to her because they personally know her. But I get it that he is a character that shows a type of parasocial relationship, and he just was overwhelmed with that, and he just wanted to kill her because she was famous and he was a fan and he knew he couldn't never get her, so he wanted to kill her for still no reason. So yeah, the stalker being that guy was very disappointing. the storyline with the sister. After the sister dies, the storyline never goes anywhere else. She never addresses some of the people in her team not trying to help her. She never addresses her sister being jealous of her. That storyline literally dies with the sister. So the storyline was there pretty much for nothing, because even Frank got kissed by the sister, but he never told Rachel about it.
I want to close out by talking about Rachel and Frank. So, going into this movie, I really wanted to like this couple because I just think they're so attractive. Whitney Houston and Kevin, they look so good together. Like, I grew up watching images of them two from this film, like just thinking, wow, they look so attractive together. But watching the movie, it's very easy not to. I mean, it's just one film, but it's just the film didn't make me want to root for the couple, and here's why. I think the beginning where they started first interacting with each other, I thought it was cute. I thought it was a good build up to their romantic relationship. But as Whitney started to know about the stalker, her character started to fall for me, especially her. Because throughout this whole movie, she seems to not comprehend how much in danger she is. And even when the stalker tried to kill her son, he put a bomb on the boat that her son was in one of the scenes of the movie. So this stalker tries to kill your son, then kills your sister who you didn't know was a hater, but he kills her. And then by the time the Oscars comes along, she's telling him, Frank is trying to protect her because he's telling her, you're gonna get targeted at the Oscars. And she's literally backstage yelling at him, telling him that he's so paranoid, that he's doing too much, to leave me alone, being very rude to him. Like, throughout this whole movie, she doesn't not seem to comprehend how much danger she's in, how much her family is in danger. Like, if it was me, like, I would try to listen to him even more because he's an expert at it. But, she tried to confuse her love with him being her bodyguard in the first place. So, yeah, I feel like her character was not very much making me like them as a couple. I believe the ending where they kind of seem to go their separate ways. She kind of seems to be leaving the city, or moving away, and them not being together. I didn't know how to feel about that either. I was kind of still hoping that they would end up together at the end of the movie. Didn't seem that way. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about The Bodyguard, starring Whitney Houston? I was very excited to see this movie. I would watch it again. I don't think I hate it. Like I said, my issues with the movie was mainly the writing and, Whitney's character. But other than that, I feel like the movie was very entertaining. I did say that Whitney and Kevin, the two actors, they have very good chemistry, and they look really good together. Like, Whitney looked the fuck good in this movie. She looked stunning. Every scene, every angle, like, wow, this woman looked good in this movie. So yeah, I really, really liked it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And also, let me know what movie do you guys think I'm going to react to next. Thank you.